From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme 3 podcast. Hello and welcome, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme 3 podcast. This is the podcast where we, of course, pick 3 films connected by one theme. I'm Nicholas Ibarra. My co-host, Bella F. Stratus. She's out of town, spending some quality time with the family this week for Thanksgiving, but I'm joined by a familiar face, returning guest, and speaking of family, brother from another mother, Max Sopkin. Max, thank you for being here. Glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me back. I always love being here, and I hope your fans don't mind. I'm back again to talk about more musicals.
I guarantee you they will not mind. That's a guarantee. I mean, there is quite literally nobody else that I could do this episode with than you, sir, because what we are exploring today are, not just 3 films, of course, it's the Gimme 3 podcast, but basically a journey that you and I have been on together for about 18 years now. Today we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we're celebrating it for about the second time in a month, because just a few weeks ago, you and I went out to Anaheim, the Grove in Anaheim, and we saw a Shadowcast screening complete with a Q&A with Tim Curry, Barry Bostwick, Patricia Quinn, Nell Campbell. Amazing night. But Max, do you want to take our audience back about 18 years and before we get into the films, talk briefly about our introduction in the flesh to the Rocky Horror Picture Show and what that all means to us?
Yeah, 100%. We were, Nick and I were high school friends. This must have been our junior year of high school. 2006, I guess it would have been. Yeah. I think we had just learned really what the Rocky Horror live show was all about. I had seen the movie when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13, I want to say. But I think, we had recently learned about what it actually was with the Shadowcast. And so we drove from Upland in the Inland Empire to the New Art Theater in West LA. And it was you and me and Sam Hunt and Justin May. And we lined up in front of the theater. Oh, gosh. I think we got there at about 11. Because we didn't want to be late, but now knowing they don't even start that movie until 1:00, it's hilarious.
Right. So what else were we doing?
yeah. When you're 16, it's like, what difference does it make?
Right.
And I remember the people coming around being like, "Any virgins here? Any virgins?" And we were like, "Yes, in more ways than one." and then they mess with you a little bit, right? And I just remember on Justin's neck in lipstick someone had written CUNT in gigantic letters on his, and he was younger than us. I think Justin was probably 14.
Yeah, that spells cunt, by the way, for the listeners out there.
Anybody wondering? And just being like, immediately we're like already overwhelmed, but also being like, this place is, this is crazy. You can get away with anything. And then going inside the theater and, they did the virgin ceremony and the pre-show, all the announcements, the cartoon at the beginning, the short that they show. And then finding out that the guy who owns the theater was on Beat the Geeks. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
The guy who owns the New Art is also the guy who was on it was a Comedy Central game show called Beat the Geeks, where it was like people did trivia against people who were experts in specific categories. And he obviously was the film expert.
Right.
That also blew my mind because I love that show. And then watching the movie starting at 1:00 in the morning, it doesn't end until nearly 3, and being blown away by. I mean, I think we were laughing so hard we were crying basically the entire time.
Right.
because of all the call outs and then seeing like hot women dressed in scantily clad, and also being a teenager being like, this place is crazy. This is like unbridled. And then driving home and getting home at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and just being like, that was incredible. And I know it was as life changing for me as it was for you, because we subsequently went back, like, I don't know, a million times,
right? And
then for you joined a Shadowcast, for a long time. So it's indelibly linked to our adolescence, but also to each other,
right.
That you and I share this connection.
Yeah, it was a bonding experience, because I think it was pretty young in our friendship where we went to that first Rocky Horror Show experience, and yeah, I think we were linked together forever since then.
And we were burgeoning film nerds, it's like we were taking that film class in high school and talking and watching movies endlessly on weekends. We would have movie marathons at my house, and what did we watch? Lord of the Rings and all the Star Wars movies. It's like it's such a fun, seminal time to like forge those friendships and also your interests.
Right.
So
yeah, well, thanks for inviting me, because like you said, it stuck, and I joined a Shadowcast after that, and the rest is history. But in addition to talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show tonight, we are also going to be discussing the lesser known movie that is kind of connected to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's kind of a sequel. It's called Shock Treatment. So for those of you who have seen it, you're going to want to hear our thoughts on that. For those of you who haven't seen it, which is probably most of you, you're going to want to hear our thoughts on that.
I think I needed Shock Treatment after watching Shock Treatment.
And then we're going to finish with a film that actually kind of came out the year before Rocky Horror Picture Show was made. Another rock musical directed by Brian De Palma, with music by Paul Williams. It's called Phantom of the Paradise. Lots of connections between the three films. Lots of similarities. So yeah, let's get into these three incredible, I wouldn't say incredible, that's a bad word. These three wild and fucking crazy movies.
Fascinating. They're fascinating.
Fascinating movies.
Each their own way.
The first of which, and the most iconic that we're going to be discussing, is of course the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Max, take it away.
I wrote a Bella F. Stratus style introduction for this.
Oh, nice. Good Godspeed with this movie.
It's short. It's shorter than what Bella writes, but
yeah.
I thought she would enjoy listening to this. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, released in 1975, directed by Jim Sharman, written by Jim Sharman and Richard O'Brien, who also wrote the music and lyrics for the songs. It's based on a play by Richard O'Brien. This film is the quintessential cult mega hit.
Mm-hmm.
A box office bomb when it was released originally. It has stayed in theaters for 50 years, becoming a massive cultural influence for misfits, outcasts, and weirdos.
Yeah.
Brad Majors.
Asshole.
There you go. And Janet Weiss.
Slut.
Are two clean-cut, wholesome white people who find themselves with a broken down car in the rain and must find refuge in a derelict manor. Upon entering, they discover a party in process helmed by the mysterious Dr. Frank N. Furter, who immediately sets on seducing Brad and Janet. Hijinks ensue. That's the end of my intro.
Great. Going any deeper than that is pointless.
Yes. And if you haven't seen this movie, where the hell have you been? I mean, I don't know that I have to explain it that much more, although you've probably seen clips and whatever of it. What a film. What a film. It's a one-of-a-kind, unique take. Richard O'Brien wrote this play and then the movie as an homage to the B movies of his childhood.
Right.
That this is based on 1950s schlock horror. And all of those films are mentioned in the opening song, science fiction double feature.
Right.
The literally by name. So you know exactly what you're getting into during the overture because it tells you what to expect. And this movie is essentially just Frankenstein, but told in a classic kind of B movie, almost like Corman-esque,
right,
in a way.
Corman-esque with rock and roll and queer undertones.
Yes. It's just a confluence of so much fun and quirkiness, and really what I'll talk about. My theme for the whole night is like, what is bad and what is weird. And to me, Rocky Horror is weird.
Okay? Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's weird. It's a weird film.
Yeah.
So like, we can get into it in a little bit, but do you have any initial thoughts about, Rocky that you want to talk about that we haven't already talked about before?
I mean, when we went to go see it the couple of weeks ago, it was the first time I had seen it in like well over a decade. I think I told you, despite having seen the film, well over 100 times, it was the first time I'd seen it in a long time, probably since my last performance, which was 12, 13 years ago. And then driving home, I was thinking it was actually probably the first time I'd actually sat down and watched the film in even longer, because when I was in the Shadowcast, I was like in the show or I was running around doing something. So one thing really stuck out to me, which is not like some hidden thought or something that is not, widely known. But the one thing that I was just absolutely in awe of was Tim Curry, and just Tim Curry's general aura in this film is out of this world, and probably the main reason why it has stood the test of time.
100%. Could not agree more emphatically with that point. He is everything for this film. And it's crazy to think this is his first movie.
Yep.
And he just comes right out the gate crushing it.
Yeah.
This movie would be, I'll say this movie would be nothing without him, and I know that for a fact because we're going to talk about Shock Treatment in a few minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the songs are good.
The songs are great, but without Tim Curry, what do you have?
Right.
You have Shock Treatment.
You have Shock Treatment.
And he is just remarkable. He's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. He's so funny. Like the affectation that he has. I've seen that interview of him talking about how he came up with that accent. Because originally, like they had talked about, it was going to be German. Dr. Frankenfurter was going to be, some German, whatever. But then he said that he was on the bus one day and he heard a woman behind him talking to another woman, and she was like ultra posh. And she was saying, oh, do you have a house in the town or a house in the country? And he was like, oh my God, that's it. Like, that's Frankenfurter. And it's like, so his accent's like so posh. It's like, it's crazy.
He's talking like the queen.
Yeah.
That he is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. He's everything in this film. And it, launches the career of somebody who embraces the kind of camp and quirky acting stuff. Because like Tim Curry is not a conventional leading man.
No.
He's a character actor.
He's kind of, with all respect given, I think he is a beautiful man, but he's just like got a unique look, to him. Yeah. That's not like your conventional leading man look.
He never has the career after this that supports like the leading man,
Right.
Like when I think of Tim Curry, I think of Clue.
Mm-hmm.
I think of Muppet Treasure Island.
Right.
And I don't know, Charlie
Legend.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, but he's not in the Oscar winning. He's not Ralph Fiennes in The English Patient or whatever.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
he's just not in those roles. It's just not who he is. He embraces who he is. It's like, I want Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island. That's who I want.
Yeah, he's perfect for that.
He's perfect for that.
And it also made, in addition to Tim Curry, you have a very young Susan Sarandon in this picture. And I mean, look what her career happened after this film. She did become the leading woman.
The big star.
Yeah.
For sure.
And she's not great in this movie.
No, but she looks dynamite.
She looks dynamite, but her acting is atrocious. But she got better. Do you have, Max? Well, I know this is kind of a shitty question, but is there a favorite song for you from the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack?
Oh yeah, it's over at the Frankenstein place.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one.
That's the song that I feel like I sing the most to myself, like when I'm not listening to, or when I listen to the soundtrack, which is often.
Yeah.
Or, whistling or singing or whatever. It's just, it has a beautiful tune, just a really great melody.
Yeah.
And it's performed very nicely.
Yeah.
Also.
They hit some incredible notes in the performance of that track.
Yeah. I would say that's probably my favorite song in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one?
It's real. I was trying to think, and it's really tough because, I mean, especially in the first 30, 40 minutes, it's like banger after banger after banger.
Yeah, I was going to say, Damn It, Janet is also probably my next favorite.
Yeah, I think Damn It, Janet, Sweet Transvestite. I'll give you three since it's the Give Me Three podcast. And since I'm.
Yeah.
Damn It, Janet, and Sweet Transvestite.
Of course.
And I Can Make You a Man.
Love it.
I just love the funkiness of I Can Make You a Man, and Curry's performance in it is so magnetic. And I just, for those three tracks in particular, also, I loved performing them when I was in the Shadowcast. It would just like, those were the ones that would just like electrify me and be like, oh, I'm feeling, like this was before I was doing drugs, so like I didn't need it. I was, it was just, once you get into those tracks, those were my drugs.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, every song in this is great. Hot Patootie is great. Mm-hmm. Sword of Damocles is a great song.
Yeah.
Touch It, Touch It, Touch Me. The Eddie's Death Song or whatever it's called. They're all great. And of course, Frank's Swan Song.
Yeah.
Whatever happened
I'm going home.
to Fay Ray. That delicate satin draped frames. It's the most scenery chewing performance, but god damn, is it the best.
Yeah. There's so much trivia about this film, and I don't know like how much we need to get into all of it because it's like it's been talked about for 50 years now, endlessly. But I'm more curious about like why do you think this film, it is now the longest, and has been for some time, the longest running theatrical run ever.
Sure.
By a long shot. Why do you think this movie has stood the test of time?
Yeah, it's the weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
It's the weirdness. It's because it's weird. There's no other movie really that works like this, where like the dialogue is written and performed in such a way, for example, that just leaves a pause in between every line. Why is the criminologist leaving a pause in between every single line? I would like, if I may,
you may not.
Like, why are you performing it like this?
Right.
What? Okay, so it lends itself to ridicule, and people love that. People have always loved bad or weird movies. It starts in my, like, I think of Plan 9 from Outer Space, right? Like that's right. You think of Ed Wood, and I'm sure there's bad movies before that, but like the ironic film watching really comes out of that, and I'm sure Richard O'Brien knows that, right? And works that into his film. I don't think he expects people to write a a script within a script and then and shout it all at the screen. I am sure he didn't predict that, but the fact that it happened is remarkable.
Right.
And that these jokes travel from one theater to another and spread across the states and across the globe. It's kind of like, like how we grew up on the playground and you sing, like, you don't know where you hear these, like, jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. Where does that come from?
Right.
You just hear another kid sing it, and then you sing it, and then another kid sings it. And it's like, that's how Rocky Horror jokes are, where they just like go from theater to theater to theater. And you can show up at one theater and shout the jokes and people will know what you're saying. And it's,
yeah. When we went to the 50th anniversary screening the other day, it was fun because it was at the Grove of Anaheim. So it was like thousands of people in there.
Yeah, big house.
You'd hear callbacks from all over the theater, and a lot of them you had heard before, some of them you hadn't heard before. Some people next to us would like point us out and be like, hey man, your guys' callbacks kick ass, just like it's like different generations of callbacks are all kind of like, it was total chaos if you had not seen that movie and went in there for the first time, which I'm sure there's probably two of those people. They'd be like, I can't hear what's happening.
But everybody around us had never seen it
with a
shadow
tag.
tag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because I think we were getting surprisingly a large amount of laughs for a Rocky audience, because I'm just used to going to the to the New Art or whatever, and everybody there has been a million times,
right?
So it's we talked about this. I was expecting the audience to be pretty old,
same
at the Grove, but it was not. I mean, there was a lot of younger people there, which is great to see that like this will still continue long into the future.
Yeah. The new generation has taken the torch and they're running with it, which is fantastic. Yeah, like you said, it is so weird and it's so unique and it's so quirky and queer. I mean, that's another reason why I think it stood the test of time. Obviously, like the queer LGBT community kind of like found a home within this community and made it their own, which is wonderful. But from a filmmaking standpoint, it's also like you watch it, it's like this is simultaneously. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie do this. It's simultaneously dated as shit. And it was probably like dated. It felt dated in the 70s, probably.
Yeah.
And also way ahead of its time and way ahead of like the time today. It is. And in that sense, I think is what makes it timeless is you're just like, when was this movie made and who was it for?
Right. I mean, this movie is a great example of how far money goes when you make a film. Right, because their budget's like $1.2 million. Okay,
right.
This movie is filmed in like no time. It's very quick.
Yeah,
and put out. To think about this by comparison's sake, Jaws is released the same year. The two films look and feel completely different. Star Wars comes out 2 years after this, so it's been basically in pre-production at the time this movie is released. It's in production just after, and Star Wars had a budget of $20 million.
Right.
So and it shows.
Yeah.
Right? Like it really shows. But what is it? Necessity is the motherhood of invention. So you kind of have to get creative with what you have. And yeah, the cheapness of it lends itself to
it's part of its charm
of the film. Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned Jaws, and like there's a great tagline on the poster of this movie, which is it's the classic lips which open up the film. Red, bold lips over a black void, and the teeth are biting the bottom lip, and the tagline is a different set of jaws.
It's perfect.
One of the best taglines ever of a poster.
Yeah, and if you're the studio and Richard O'Brien and Jim Sharman and just the gang, like the first blockbuster of all time comes out the summer of the year that you're releasing your little rink-a-dink weird musical, how are you competing with that in any way?
Yeah.
And yet here we are 50 years later, and I would argue that that Rocky Horror has as much cultural cachet as Jaws does.
Oh, 100%, if not more.
That this weird movie didn't get crushed under the weight of Jaws, and it managed to hold its own.
I would say in America, they probably have about the same cultural cachet, but globally, I'd say Rocky Horror probably does.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. They're not showing Jaws in German movie theaters every
single week.
Saturday. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is there anything more to say? Because I mean, obviously, we could talk about it for 3 hours, but
I mean, I think to me, like, really, the crux of this film is beyond the screen.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. Okay. Watch the movie so that you know the plot. It doesn't really matter. The plot doesn't matter. They're transsexual transvestites from outer space. It makes no difference.
I have seen this movie well over 100 times. I have performed it 100 times. I don't know what the fuck this movie's about.
Nobody does. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
The point of this is getting out, seeing it in a theater at midnight, seeing it with the shadow cast and the call outs. They're so funny. They're so fun.
So funny. And just being privy to that community, just seeing that community of outcasts or, unique people, queer people, like, come together for this really weird, bizarre movie that was made 50 years ago and act as a synchronized family. It's quite special to behold. And when we went a couple weeks ago, it's like I got a little emotional because I'd been away from it for so long, and I was like, being away from it for well over a decade and stepping back into it, it's like it felt like a fucking Frankenfurter song, like I'm coming home. It was quite beautiful.
That's very touching, and yeah, I absolutely understand how you feel about that.
Yeah, I do. Before we sign up, I thought I should probably shout out just some names real quick, and I probably should have wrote them down because I know I'm going to forget people, but just like people who helped me in my Rocky journey and who were just really amazing. Thomas Kennedy, who was kind of like my band leader and the dude who believed in me and like put me on the stage, because I started doing like lighting and props in Rocky Horror, and he was like, you should get out there, dude. Ashley Pipp, who was like the Janet to my Brad, really showed me the ropes. Mary, Chris, Ray Thompson, one of the all-time great Frankenfurters, who I'm pretty sure we saw a couple of weeks ago. I just like haven't messaged him to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that was Ray up there. Michael Tappan, Casey, Jesse Merlin, Scarlet Letter, Ronnie, Scott, Dimitri, the Brad I learned a lot from. Rest in peace, brother. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of people, but I was just off the top of my head, I wanted to shout out some of the great people who are a part of my Rocky Horror family.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. You guys should check it out. They do shadowcasts all over this country. I'm not even going to tell you where it's streaming because you should not watch it streaming, especially where it is streaming now. You should not watch it there. Go see it with a shadowcast at midnight. It's screening at the New Art Theater in Los Angeles. I know the Frida Cinema does a screening, I think once a month, which is in Santa Ana. I know there's casts in New York, Chicago, all over the globe. So wherever you're listening to this, there will be a Rocky Horror Shadowcast coming to you at least once a year, if not once a month or every week.
I mean, you barely have to look. The La Habra Depot in La Habra, which is like a theater with 40 seats, does one once a month. You know, like,
right?
Yeah, you just got to get out there and you'll find one. Drink a 5-hour energy and get out there and see that movie, man.
Get out there and be somebody. All right. That's going to take us to the lesser known cult film, Shock Treatment. Richard O'Brien's follow-up to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's an equal. And before I get letters, I do not mean equal in terms of quality to Rocky Horror Picture Show, although some people would debate that. It is an equal in that at this point in time, they were viewing the characters of Brad and Janet and this world as kind of like anthology stories, kind of like a Gulliver's Travels kind of deal.
I see it as like a spiritual successor in a way.
Yeah. So we got Shock Treatment from 1981, directed by Jim Sharman. Again, co-written by Richard O'Brien and Jim Sharman. Again, the two creative heads are back. Lots of people are back in this one. Patricia Quinn's back. Nell Campbell's back. Charles Gray's back. And yes, Brad and Janet Majors are back as well, only this time it's not Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick. They opted not to return. In their place, we have one of my all-time favorite women, Jessica Harper. So you know I'll be completely unbiased here. Jessica Harper as Janet. And we've got Cliff DeYoung as Brad. And we are back in Denton, the home of happiness. And this time we don't get to see really any of the town. All of the town seems to come to and revolve around the Denton Television Studio. A television studio that is run by this new, very rich, corporate overlord, fast food selling oligarch. Sound kind of familiar? His name is Farley Flavors, and he's got the entire town of Denton drinking up his TV shows and his Kool-Aid. The live studio audience is hypnotized. They're totally locked in. They are literally locked in. They're just like staying in the seats, sleeping there. This TV studio is called DTV, Denton Television. So Brad and Janet, they arrive at the studio, and they are hoping to partake in this game show called Marriage Maze, because clearly they are going through some marital issues. And Brad is apprehensive, and Janet tells Brad, "Don't worry, Brad, it's going to be all right," which is kind of like a fun role reversal from Rocky Horror when Brad's telling Janet, "Don't worry, it's going to be all right." So on the Marriage Maze show, you have this host, Bert Schnick, who deems Brad an emotional cripple. Fortunately, or unfortunately, Farley Flavors has another TV show that can help fix Brad. It's called Dentonvale. Some bizarre psych ward show. Is it a show? I don't know, but some bizarre psych ward thing.
Yes, I think within the context of the movie, it's a show.
Yeah. So it's a bizarre psych ward show featuring the doctors Cosmo and Nation McKinley. That's Richard O'Brien and Patricia Quinn returning. Once again, playing freaky siblings.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, yeah. And one of the nurses that's helping them is also Nell Campbell. And without all the makeup on, you could see how absolutely stunning Nell Campbell is.
Yeah. I was like, is this the same Nell Campbell? I was like,
yep.
Damn, son. What glow up from the first movie.
Yeah. So they drug up Brad and they put him in a straitjacket and they stick him in a cage. And meanwhile, under the orders of Farley Flavors, the television station and the television audience, they start to like breed Janet as this reality TV star in a sense. And this was years before reality TV. They give her a makeover. They give her confidence. They make her the belle of the ball. And it's all leading up to this big grand event where I don't really know what's supposed to happen, but they're awarding Janet with the title Miss Mental Health.
And like a car.
And a car. Yeah. And I think the idea is that, you know, like she's getting this award and that she's going to be married off and become Mrs. Farley Flavors. They're trying to eliminate Brad from Janet's life. She's kind of going along with it.
Yeah. For some reason, you don't know why. Why are they trying to get rid of Brad?
For some reason. I'm going into spoilers on this because I think...
should. Because 9 out of 10 people are not going to watch this movie. You should definitely spoil it.
Not so fast. Bitter co-hosts of another canceled DTV show, The Denton Dossier, have found out that Brad and Farley Flavors are long-lost twin brothers. And the hosts break Brad out of the psych ward and they set him up to crash the party. And will Janet choose her flawed husband who she's loved, or will she choose fame and fortune and prestige with Farley Flavors? There's this crazy dual duet with Brad and Farley Flavors where they...
Cool song.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
Cool song.
I got some history on that song. They kind of talk about their history as estranged twin brothers. And ultimately, Janet ends up with Brad and they leave the studio. And meanwhile, Farley Flavors stays running his empire of this television studio and it ends with the entire audience, the entire live TV audience in straitjackets, being totally hypnotized by this essentially cult leader. It's a bizarre film, as you can tell from the description.
Yeah.
It has moments, I believe. I have a soft spot in my heart for this film. I think it has moments of real brilliance. It's way ahead of its time as far as like exploring the themes of like corporate overtake of the media. It basically predicted reality TV. I have a lot of historical stuff to get into, but before I do, as a decades-long Rocky fan, Max, I'm dying to know what you thought of Shock Treatment.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in all of this, and I'm still going to say this movie sucks. I think what you said was right, and I agree with you. It still is just a grind to watch this film. Even despite, in fact, 10 minutes into this movie, I was really sad that Bella was not going to be here because I really wanted to know what Bella thought of this movie.
Yeah, right.
And I hope after she listens to this episode that she gives me a call and we can talk about it because I do truly want to know what she thinks. That this movie, yeah, you're right, has flashes of brilliance and the ideas are there, like the foundations for what Richard O'Brien is trying to say is there. Literally none of it is executed well. The dialogue is essentially incoherent.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film, there's the fact that they're all in this one soundstage. The whole movie takes place inside the soundstage, because I read that SAG was on strike, and apparently American actors were not allowed to set foot on set in the US. They were going to film actually in Denton, Texas, and then they couldn't. And so
they moved out of the country.
Yeah. They went to Pinewood or something like that. And then made the entire thing indoors, which extends the surrealism way too far. Yeah. I think. It makes it confusing to watch because the whole thing is set in the same location. It's like watching Thornton Wilder's Our Town or something like that, but without the dialogue or narrator. You have two random characters, the interviewer lady and the criminologist from the first film, who are just wandering around watching this happen and then just literally saying, vacillating between expositional dialogue and then horny come-ons to each other. And I just, even the music, which is honestly really great.
Yeah.
Bitchin' in the Kitchen is a fucking awesome song. And I've been singing it all week.
Yeah.
I am sick of being humiliated by you. Bert's right, you're going.
It looks like Brad and Jonathan have a decision to make. Here's some more prizes for ladies here on marriage days.
Dear Blender,
You won't blend into the background for this in your home.
won't you help the first offender? Oh, toaster,
Caught up in the popularity ratings.
don't you put the burn on me.
Look at this.
Refrigerator, why are we always sooner or later? Bitching in the kitchen or crying in the bedroom all night.
Living on a
I mean, it's a great song. It's
great
classic
jam.
Richard O'Brien, great song. And contextually, it happens completely out of nowhere, where they're at a commercial break. Brad is about to get led into an insane asylum, and he's singing this song. Here's my takeaway, and this is what I wrote down. Okay, this is what I was talking about: the difference between bad and weird.
Yeah,
Shock Treatment is bad and weird. All right. Bad movies you can laugh at.
Right.
Okay. And weird movies you can laugh with, but bad and weird movies you can't laugh at or with.
Right.
So a bad movie is The Room.
Right.
So it's like a normal film, but just done very poorly. And so it's very funny, right? And a weird movie is Rocky Horror Picture Show, where they know what they're doing is strange, and so you're in on the joke, and it's you can laugh with it, and that's fine. To have a bad and weird movie at the same time is painful. And I think of, I just watched was Tiptoes, the movie where Gary Oldman is a midget. Okay. And he's brothers with Matthew McConaughey. And there was an attempt to be a very serious film. And it was made badly and it was weird. And I couldn't laugh at it and I couldn't laugh with it. The whole time I'm just thinking like, what the fuck am I watching here?
Right.
And that is how I felt about Shock Treatment. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to like it. And again, the flashes of brilliance were there. But after reading that, Richard O'Brien could not come up with, he tried draft after draft of script, and this is the best they came up with. I was thinking should have shelved this thing, man. You didn't need it.
Well, I'll get into the history with the drafts and stuff, but just so everybody knows, I don't disagree with you. But I still love this movie.
Yeah, and you can still love it. You can still love a piece of shit. I mean, everybody has those movies. Everybody has those movies that you love a piece of shit. I love Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. It's a piece of shit. I'm still gonna love it. I'm still gonna fucking love it.
I take this movie more as it's all allegorical.
Sure.
I don't disagree with you. It is. There's issues. There are some issues. But yeah, like I mentioned in the intro, I do think, it has some merits of before the reality TV kind of predicting that, the social media thing, people's lives being on and off camera,
Jessica Harper's, Janet just immediately abandoning Brad and being I can be famous now.
Right.
I mean, no, 100%, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. There's also a bit of cult business fascism thing going on with Farley Flavors. His symbol with the 5 Fs kind of looks like a Nazi symbol. So you've got Richard O'Brien kind of warning us about addiction to media leading us to fascist leadership, which, maybe we're seeing bits of now. So it has its merits, but from a plot standpoint and a dialogue standpoint, you're right. Trash. Just don't, absolute trash. But the songs are cool. So here is, I think you will find this interesting.
Okay.
Here's kind of the history of the Rocky Horror sequel and how it turned into Shock Treatment. Originally, Richard O'Brien wrote a much more standard, straight continuation of Rocky Horror. It was called Rocky Horror Shows His Heels. And it's got Janet is pregnant in there and she doesn't know if it's Brad's baby or Frank's baby. And Rocky brings Frank back to life and Brad's now gay because, once you go Frank, to no woman will you wank. And there's...
that's funny.
There's no script available for this, but what we do have, and I could send it to you, is there's actual script coverage of this, which is fascinating to read.
Wow.
There's studio script coverage of this screenplay. It sounds wild. It sounds like a fucking mess. It sounds worse than Shock Treatment, frankly.
Yes, this is definitely a sequel not needed by any means.
So thankfully, Tim Curry was like, I'm not doing this. I will never, ever reprise this role. I will not do a Rocky Horror sequel. Because he's smart. So they morph this sequel into this other thing called the Brad and Janet Show, which is something closer to Shock Treatment, but it's a little bit more, you see more of Denton. Eventually it ends up with this one location TV studio deal of Shock Treatment. So some of the songs may feel what the hell are we singing about here? What does this have to do with anything? Well, or several of the songs in Shock Treatment were written for previous versions of these would-be sequels.
Yes.
And once you hear the context of what they're written for, you're just like, okay, that makes sense. So like that song you mentioned, Bitchin' in the Kitchen, in the original version of the sequel, Brad is like at home while Janet's working and he's feeling like emasculated that's their roles. So he starts singing to his kitchen appliances, like confiding in them.
Right.
In Shock Treatment, I think they made it kind of work because they had them like confiding in television and commercials and consumerism. That song Looking for Trade, where Janet's going around, I'm looking for trade.
Yeah.
In the original sequel, the script, Frank needs literally the blood of young male virgins to keep him alive. So Looking for Trade was written for Brad, who's out looking for young blood of virgins to sacrifice to Frankenfurter.
Right. Makes far more sense.
Makes far more sense.
Yeah. I'm like, why is Janet a prostitute now?
Yeah.
That doesn't quite add up.
Right. And then the final one I'll talk about is that dual duet, which you also said was cool, of like Brad singing to his twin brother. That was originally a song written between Riff Raff and Frankenfurter. After Riff Raff, they have another climactic showdown and Riff Raff steals Frank and Janet's baby. So that song seems to like make a little bit more sense once you hear the context of it. So it is kind of impressive how they were able to make songs that were written for something totally different and work it into this. But at the same time, it's like, Richard O'Brien, why didn't you just write new songs for this script that you knew you had to like?
And he's a great songwriter. So it is kind of like, why are you just shelve the songs, come up with something new?
Right.
You know, like this, what they really needed was to bring in a veteran screenwriter. Like that's what they're missing is so they need to bring in one of those Hollywood workhorses who just is like, I'm going to reshuffle all of this.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to give it structure and a plot and you can insert the weirdness as you see fit.
Correct. That is correct. Yes. Because even when we talk about Phantom of the Paradise, like for any of its faults, it at least has a very straightforward narrative.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's happening and where it's going. And Rocky does too. You know, it's weird, but at least you kind of know what's happening as it's happening.
Right.
This movie, I'm like, you're in the middle of a scene and you're like, what are we talking about here? I don't know what we're doing.
There are scenes in that movie that are just like, that I because I've seen it so many times, like rewatching it this time, I was just like, skip. Like I literally just like entire songs that I was just like, I don't skip. Look what I did to my id. Skip.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. And okay, so what we were talking about in the when we're talking about Rocky is like Frank is the person that you root for,
right?
In Rocky Horror, right? Like he is not the hero of the film. In fact, he's the villain in most of the ways, right? But like in the end, you don't really care about Brad and Janet. The person you care about is Frank,
right?
He's too lovable. He's got a lot of allure, and you know, with his swan song and I'm going home, and you know, like his tragic death, you're like, oh man, that's tough. And
you get it.
And Magenta, are mean to him for like seemingly no reason. So then this film has no hero. There's no hero in this film. There's literally no one to cheer for. It's not really for Brad, who spends half of it bound and gagged in a cage.
Right.
You're not cheering for Janet, who turns into an insufferable douche. You're not cheering for the criminologist guy and the reporter because you don't really care about them.
They've got no riz.
Yeah, they got no riz. That's exactly right. Yeah, so who are we cheering for?
It's a good point.
There's nobody.
Yeah.
There's nobody. Like without Tim Curry, without any central good character to root for, man, the movie really
there's no
falters.
In short, to put it simply, there's no real protagonist in this film.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. And there's a scene right in the beginning when the criminologist dude is like, isn't that Brad and Janet Denton's star couple? They're the perfect couple. And then they're literally, then like the next line of dialogue is them being dragged onto this show and being like, Janet's like, our marriage is falling apart. We can't communicate anymore. And you're like, what? I have fucking whiplash. Like,
right.
Are they good? Are they not? You know?
Yeah.
And because we don't know anything about these two people, why is she having her husband essentially imprisoned?
Right.
He is not there's no context before this where they're showing like Brad being some doofus husband who doesn't participate in anything, or he's just given up on life. There's nothing. We see nothing before it. And so they just take him away and you're like, well, that's kind of mean.
That went from 0 to 60 real quick.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Oh man, this is rough. It's rough, people. I mean, watch it at your own peril. Wait, here's another question for you. Why is Richard O'Brien so obsessed with incest?
Dude.
What's his deal?
Well, he's white.
Oh my god. Like, what's the deal?
So that's the first part of it.
Okay, you know, sure, if you want to fool around with Patricia Quinn, fine. Why does she have to be your sister in everything?
Again? Yeah.
Again, they're not the same character. If they had at least revealed at the end, oh, by the way, it's Riff Raff and Magenta again.
Right.
I would have been like, thank God. Like, at least there's like another tie-in to this.
Right.
But nope, they're just a couple of fucking creeps.
Yeah, I can't answer that question other than Richard O'Brien said he's very sexually open, and there's guys and dolls and all that thing, and apparently that siblings also is included in that.
We all draw the line at incest. I'm sorry, we have to, as a society. I'm going to say it here, folks. You can at me all you want. We're drawing a line at incest.
Are you kink shaming incest right now?
We are not Greek gods, okay? We are drawing a line at incest. If I ever got to do a Q&A with Richard O'Brien, that would be my first and only question. It's, Mr. O'Brien, this is a very direct question. Why are you so obsessed with incest?
Why are you into that sister fucking?
What is the deal, dude?
That's a great song, though, when they reveal the like incest thing. I like that song.
You know, it's like, it feels like shocking just for shocking's sake.
Yeah.
And it works in Rocky because you're like, oh my gosh, okay, weird. And they do the elbow sex. But then in this movie, you're like, again? Doing this again?
Also in Rocky, there's like so much sexuality, and it's very, very sexual and all kinds of eroticism. In this movie, there's not. There's very little eroticism. So when that comes up, just like, oh, what the fuck? It just like doesn't fit at all. I mean, it says never fits, but it is way
in particular, yeah.
It is way more of a cringy creep out thing in this film.
Yes, which I think would have worked better if it wasn't in Rocky.
Right.
If it was just one or the other, you'd be like, oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Creepy and weird. But because he's doing it in both films, you're like, no, there's something more going on here, and I don't want to know about it.
Yeah. Before we move on, Max, was there any, just so I can sleep tonight, was there anything that you liked about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think I agree. Thematically, there's so much here that is great. You know, like I agree. The whole social media, reality TV aspect of it all, the equating mental health with just taking endless pills.
Right.
You know, there's a lot here to work with. It's just, it never got honed down.
Yeah.
You know?
It never congealed.
It never congealed. To me, it's like a big hunk of marble that never got truly chipped away into a statue. That it was just like, it's a half finished film. It's a half baked idea.
I think you hit the nail on the head. 100%. Yeah. I agree. Shock treatment. You must watch it.
I mean, just to say you did.
Yeah. But it's not available to stream anywhere. You must get I don't even think actually it's available on Blu-ray. It's only available on DVD when it came out, the 25th anniversary of it. They released a DVD dual pack with Rocky Horror, which I own. There's actually a quite informative audio commentary with the two presidents of the Shock Treatment fan club on that disc as well, which is worth checking out and listening to.
I'll say it's on YouTube.
Okay, there you go. It's on YouTube.
The whole thing is just on YouTube. That's how I watched it. If you want to, you just Google Shock Treatment. I don't think there's no studio that's like, take this copy down. We want you to rent the official copy. I don't think anybody cares.
All right, my friends, Shock Treatment. Check it out if you dare. Which is going to take us to a break, everybody. During that break, you are going to hear from LADFF director, Gimme 3 producer, and my wife, Sonia Maru, for a segment that we call Sonia's Movie Minute. So stick around for that. And when we return, we'll be discussing Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise, one of my all-time favorite films.
Hello, I'm Sonia, and this is my Movie Minute. Today, I want to urge you all to watch Gus Van Sant's latest film, Dead Man's Wire. It's an indie that'll be competing for an audience against the biggest films of the year, but I assure you it's worth seeking out, even if you have to drive across town. It'll be playing in 35mm in LA and New York in December and opening wider in January. I was thinking of what I wanted to say about the film, but then I came across this Letterboxd review, so I'm going to read it to you instead. An incredibly gripping film. The script wastes zero time getting into the thick of it, and not once does it take its foot off the gas pedal. Bill Skarsgård is hypnotic. Colman Domingo is tremendous. Cary Elwes disappears into his role, and Al Pacino is Al Pacino. Loved this. See it on the big screen. That Letterboxd was written by this guy I know, Nicky Barra. He's very smart, and I totally agree with him. So after you see Wicked, go see Dead Man's Wire.
It's the Gimme 3 podcast, everybody. We're back. We've been discussing and celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, in fact. Why is it so funny when I fuck up?
You should leave this in. This is the intro.
Before the break, we discussed the Rocky Horror Picture Show, of course, and the not sequel, not prequel, but kind of equal, but less than film. It's called Shock Treatment.
I think you mean Schlock Treatment.
Now we're going to go back in time a little bit. The year was 1974. Phantom of the Paradise, 1 year before Rocky Horror Picture Show was released by the same studio, 20th Century Fox. By far the best looking and like crafted film that we're discussing today, and that's because it's directed by Brian De Palma, an actual filmmaker. We open on a nostalgia band, the Juicy Fruits, this kind of weird throwback to a doo-wop rock and roll group. More specifically, we focus on the man who's watching them from above. This is Swan. He is a music producer with mystique, influence, and he's got like an insane amount of power over the music industry. Essentially, if he produces music, it's going to be at the top of the charts. And as they're setting up for a new band here, this aspiring composer, Winslow Leach, steps onto the stage and starts playing a ballad that he wrote. And it's like one piece of this epic cantata based on the legend Faust. And Swan loves the music. He's like, wow, listen to that. That's gorgeous. We're going to open up my new music venue with that. The Paradise. That's the music that's going to open up the Paradise. And his little muscle guy, Philbin, is like, that gay? He's like, no, not the guy, the music. So they basically steal Winslow Leach's music, and they tell him, hey, Swan is going to listen to it. Maybe he'll call you in a month and see if we're going to do something with it. Well, they never call. And when Leach tries to get into Swan's record label, Death Records, he's kicked out. So he goes to Swan's home where they're holding auditions for a female singer. And it's here where Leach discovers two things. One, Swan is using his music and holding auditions with it. And 2, he discovers a singer, Phoenix, with the perfect voice for his cantata. He falls in love with her voice. And this, of course, is Jessica Harper in her film debut. And Swan's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. They frame him. They send him to jail. And then Winslow Leach escapes prison and ends up getting his face destroyed by a record press. This all happens in like the first 20 minutes of the film. This movie's like moving like a fucking freight train.
There's a montage of his life getting railroaded.
Yeah. They framed me.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So now he's all deformed and burned, and Leach goes to the Paradise to ensure that Swan doesn't use his music and just essentially to fuck with them as payback. But Swan has a different plan. He's like, hey, let's make a deal. If you write me another cantata, I will ensure that we use the singer that you want, the voice that you want, Phoenix. Well, Winslow Leach cannot turn down this offer, and he quite literally, much like Faust, makes a deal with the devil, which you should not do, by the way.
It's never worth it.
Never worth it, because the devil lies, and he goes back on his word, and he puts Phoenix as the backup singer, and instead he opens the Paradise with this ridiculous parody of his 70s glam rocker named Beef.
Come together in midnight.
Tasty, Winslow. Tasty.
I know, boss, but I thought you liked her.
I do. She's perfect. But you know how I abhor perfection in anyone but myself?
Then Phoenix is out?
No, not out, just a backup singer. Now, my cantata needs something really heavy.
Half asleep, I hear a voice, I hear a voice. Is it only in my mind?
No.
Or is there someone calling me? Someone I failed and left behind.
Wrong again.
To work it out, I let him in. All the good guys and the bad guys that I've been.
Pretty, but no.
All the devils that disturb me, and the angels that defeated them somehow.
No.
Come together in me now.
There's something he'll like.
Beef.
A hilarious character.
Beef is the best part of the film, in my opinion.
So Winslow Leach loses it, and now he's going to terrorize the Paradise. He's going to terrorize Swan until he gets his way. But Swan don't bend for nobody, so he's going to terrorize Winslow until he gets his way. And we got another crazy-ass film that culminates in one of the most epic endings of what the fuck was that ever captured on celluloid. It's a loose parody / adaptation of Phantom of the Opera and Faust
and Frankenstein.
And Frankenstein, and it's also like a biting satirical commentary on the music industry in the 70s. I love this film just because it is so artfully done and yet so campy and wild. Like it's one of a kind, this one. But Max, what were your thoughts on Phantom of the Paradise?
Phantom of the Paradise, aka the Paul Williams Vanity Project.
Yeah. Totally.
But I don't know how we got to this point. Paul Williams, very, very famous songwriter, extremely famous lyricist and songwriter. 2 years after this, would win an Oscar for Evergreen from A Star Is Born, which you and I have talked about on this very podcast.
Yep.
He wrote the lyrics to that song.
Most people may recognize his song "Rainbow Connection," sung by Kermit the Frog. That's Paul Williams, also.
That's 1977. That's like the next year. I think that for some reason Paul Williams is cast as Swan in this, as like the end all be all greatest musical mind of 3 generations,
right?
And yet I always think that Paul Williams is the ugliest dude. This dude is like he's real short. In this movie, he's got a terrible haircut. He's like not good look. He's not a good looking dude.
Terrible haircut or wig. I don't know what is worse. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's bad.
It's bad. And he's just, the clothes are weird. He's just not a good looking dude. Talented guy, not a great actor. I guess it makes it funny. It's that he's in this film. What I like about this movie is that it's weird, right? Yeah. Like it's definitely not bad. It's a well-made film, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's strange, but really enjoyable. That opening scene where we're watching the Juicy Fruits, and the 2 backup singers are just doing like crazy shit in the background, like jumping on the table with the people sitting next to them and like beating people up and stuff. Like right from the jump, I was like, okay, this movie's weird, and I'm kind of into it. William Finley, who plays Winslow Leach, the Phantom, what a performance from this guy. I mean, this guy gives it his all. He is totally into the craziness of it. That one eye coming out of the mask, like just like the most gigantic eyeball, bloodshot, and the silver teeth, and he screams through that vocoder. I mean, it's great. I did thoroughly enjoy this movie. I know you're a fan of Jessica Harper, and I'd love to know why specifically that is. Because now after watching 2 movies, I can't decide. I get that she's like the bee queen, and like that's kind of fun, but like, what is it about her that you love so much?
I don't know. I just am in love with her. I always have been, like, ever since I think the first movie I saw her in was probably Shock Treatment years and years and years ago. The reason that movie's bad is not because of her.
Yeah, no, agreed. She's not bad. I think she's talented. You know, she's pretty.
I love her voice. I love her. She's got this really deep voice.
We're all souls in a new life, baby. They gave us a new life to live and learn. Some time to touch old friends and still return. Our paths have crossed and parted. This love affair was started long ago. This love survives the ages. In its story lies the pages. Fill them up. May ours turn slow.
That just does something for me, and I love her look, and I love her hair, and she can't dance worth a shit, but it's like endearing. Like, I like when she does these little dance things, and it's like, man, you can't, like, who was the choreographer? Like, this ain't good, but she's like, I don't know, she just pulls me in such a way. The first ever Slumber Slam we did, which was, there was like 5 of us in my former 1-bedroom apartment, was a Jessica Harper night. I just love her. I think she is incredibly talented. I think she's gorgeous. I love her voice. She just does something for me.
Great. And clearly you're not the only one. Like, she's had a long career.
Yeah. So, she's in Suspiria. Like, Suspiria is like probably her most famous picture that most people know her from. So I just there's something about her eyes. She's got these big eyes that catch the light and just pull you in. But she's one of the many reasons why I love this movie. I think it's wild. I think it's creative. I think, as you mentioned, the character design for the Phantom in this movie is epic. Epic character design.
With that kind of like hawk mask he's wearing and the cape. And he's so tall. William Finley is so tall, but then he's like crouched over the whole time. You know, it's giving him this very twisted quality. It's
right.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, the character design kicks ass. The music is like of the 3 soundtracks, the music's probably like my least favorite with this soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
There's some cool songs on there, but it's not a soundtrack that you're gonna like throw on and be like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this. Like for me, the filmmaking is way more impressive in this one than the songs, as in with Rocky and definitely with Shock Treatment, it's like the music is, you know, kind of what stands the test of time over the filmmaking aspects.
Right. I love that this somehow leads to Scarface. Like this is this movie has a direct connection to Scarface, which is it's just funny to me. You gotta start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, no, altogether it was very entertaining, and I thought the messages that it was trying to deliver, I think it did successfully. It's kind of meta in that, you know, Leach writes a musical about Faust, and then the actual plot is Faustian. He makes this Faustian deal with Swan, who appears to be both the devil and also to have signed a contract with the devil.
That is the part that's a little confusing.
You know, but yeah, like you said, like the climax at the end with like the concert riot is exciting and fun, and you're definitely going, what the fuck, the whole time.
Yeah, it is unforgettable, that ending sequence.
I think Beef is my favorite character. I love that this movie there's a character named Beef, and then Meatloaf is later in Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
It's like, it like predicts the joke of Meatloaf before he's even a star, which is genius.
Right.
But I love that Garrett Graham. Garrett Graham, yeah. This character of Beef is supposed to be like this hardcore rocker kind of dude, and then he gets off stage and he is like this over the top effeminate gay man. He's like, I'm gonna see my mother in Cincinnati and I'm getting out of here. It's cracked me up. I was like,
it's
wow,
so good that he's just so like funny. A theater kid playing this hard rock dude. It made so much sense. It was so funny.
It's genius. It's so fun. You know, then he gets zapped by a literal bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
You know, it's like literally a bolt of lightning on a string that hits him. And he burns alive on stage, and people are cheering that on. I mean, yeah, this movie, it's kind of the Shock Treatment a little bit, where it's like, you know, kind of predicts the gory, or, you know, or harkens back to, say, like the Roman aspect of watching people get mutilated live on stage. Like, it really taps into that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, pretty successfully. That Swan is like, oh, people liked watching him melt alive on stage. I'll give them more of that.
Right. Right.
Jesus. Okay.
My favorite line from Beef, and perhaps of the whole entire film, is after Beef is like freaking out because he's been haunted by the Phantom, and he's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to see my mother in Cincinnati. And Philbin, the kind of sidekick to what's his face, Swan, says, you know, the reason that you are feeling this way, you thinking you're seeing him, is because like you're on speed. And Beef says, speed? What would you know about the stuff? You just pass the stuff out. I take it.
He's like, so then takes him over, and he's like, no, it's gonna bring me down, not up.
So funny.
It's great. His character is so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, super creative. It also has one of my like favorite shots / sequences ever put on celluloid, which is an homage to Touch of Evil, which if anybody's ever seen Touch of Evil, the Orson Welles film noir film, that film opens with a bomb being put into a car. And it's this very famous, long, one-take shot of following the car through this town before the bomb explodes. Well, Brian De Palma does that with this film, and the Phantom puts a bomb in the trunk of a prop car that's going to carry the Juicy Fruits to stage, and he puts it in backstage, but he kind of ups the ante because he does it also in a split screen. So on the left side of the screen, you're following the car as it's going through backstage, and you're following all the backstage shenanigans. And on the right side of the screen, you're seeing what's happening on stage, and it times perfectly with as the car gets there to stage, the camera whip pans to the Phantom, which is like up in the rafters, and then it pans to Paul Williams' character just as the bomb explodes, and you get his reaction to it. It is so cool. And I remember the first time I saw this movie was actually on the big screen at the New Beverly Cinema. And when I saw that, I was like, holy fucking shit. I love this movie.
It's great.
That kicks ass.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the difference. He's a true filmmaker.
Right.
Right. Like, no shade to Jim Sharman, but Jim Sharman started his career as a theater director and really does not direct many more movies after Shock Treatment and Rocky. He's like kind of done.
Right.
Whereas Brian De Palma goes on to a long storied career as a filmmaker, and it shows. Like, that sequence is awesome.
Awesome. Did you notice anything like super shitty or weird about certain things, Max? I want to see if you caught this.
Super shitty or weird?
There is, from time to time, these really archaic and shoddily done mats.
Oh, of like the death record.
Yeah, matte paintings over certain things like a podium or a marquee or something.
Right. Yes, I did.
And you're just like, my God, those are terrible mats. Like, what happened here? Well, I'll tell you what happened. And Brian De Palma absolutely hates this because it actually affected not only just these horrible mats that go in from the film from time to time, but they had to change the edit from time to time and break up some of their beautiful one takes that they had, oneers that they had. The year this movie came out, 1974, Led Zeppelin also started their record label called Swan Song. And the record label in this film was originally called Swan Song.
Okay.
And somebody from so Led Zeppelin was not happy about that. And then when they found out also that Beef dies by electrocution on stage, which happened to somebody from the Led Zeppelin team. I don't know if they died, but somebody got electrocuted on stage of a Led Zeppelin show. They hearkened to it in fucking Almost Famous also. But they were like, absolutely not. You cannot use Swan Song as the record label in your film. So the studio was like, guys, we have to change this. And they're like, how? We've shot the film. It's like production design was everywhere. Swan Song.
It's fair use. I mean, parody rights would give them the ability to continue to use this. They'd be like, sue me. I don't give a shit.
Well, the studio did not have the gusto to do that. And they forced them to cover up everything that was super visible that said Swan Song. So there were certain shots that, were long oneers that included Swan Song over a thing that had to get broken up. The most egregious example of it is
in that press conference.
In that press conference, which is happening on the tarmac, and you see this horrible mat over the podium of the Death Records.
If I was Brian De Palma, I would have turned that logo from that dead sparrow to like a Zeppelin that had blown up or something. I was saying, go fuck yourselves.
No kidding.
Led Zeppelin, you assholes. You don't have control over this film. It's completely just coincidence. They literally put in a disclaimer at the end of the film. All events are fictional and coincidental. It's like, what more disclaimer do you need for that? legally that covers you. You say sue me. That's bogus, man.
It is bogus. It is bogus. I was not a fan of hearing that since I'm a Zeppelin fan. But
I was reading that apparently this is Daft Punk's favorite movie. That the guys from Daft Punk are big fans, not only of this film but of Paul Williams. Like he's on Random Access Memories. He co-wrote some songs with them, and then as soon as I read that, I was like, oh yeah, that explains
the helmets.
The helmets, yeah, because the mask is so similar to those helmets.
100%.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I was like, oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And then, there's the sequence where he's writing is surrounded by all those Moog synthesizers, and like the aesthetics of this film very much fit the Daft Punk ethos.
100%. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, the Del Toro is this is also one of Guillermo del Toro's favorite films. When I went to his exhibit, he had an exhibit at LACMA for a while, and he had a Phantom of the Paradise mask as like one of his like prized possessions. So yeah, it's a rad movie. I think it's like rad and unique is like the perfect ways to describe it. It's
fun. Cool. It's entertaining. I would watch this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Shock Treatment. I'm never going to bother watching again. But like this movie, I would definitely. This is one of those like if I had watched this as a kid or as a teenager, I would have been super into this for sure.
Yeah, and this is like Rocky has become a cult classic. It's obviously not at the level of cult phenomenon that Rocky Horror is. No cult movie is, but. Totally bombed at the box office when it came out and has found its audience since. And I've seen it several times on the big screen, and every time I see it, it's a sold out crowd. People are there, dressed up. People are there with like custom shirts of Death Records and, all the stuff. Like, I mean, it has a following, a devout following, this film. So, and it's one of my favorites. So I say to our audience, check it out.
Hell yeah.
My friends, I want to hear if you guys have any thoughts on the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Shock Treatment, or Phantom of the Paradise. Have you guys been to a Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast? Do you have any fun stories that you can share with us? Please let us know. Please let us know. There's a few ways to let us know. One, you can slide into our DMs on the old Instagram. Gimme 3 Podcasts. GIMME spell out 3 Podcasts. That is us on Instagram. You can message us there. Bella also edits these incredible videos that she puts up. We do polls on there from time to time. Have our audience pick what we're going to be discussing on the show. So follow us on Instagram. You can also send us a text message at just scroll down to our episode description and you'll see a link that says send us a text message. It's going to go right into our inbox. Max, do you want to let the lovely folks know where they can find you on social media?
Find me on Instagram at Max Sopkin.
You can find me on Instagram, on Letterboxd, or on, what's the other one? Blue Sky at Nicholas Ivada. Ivada is spelled with a Y. Thanks all for listening to the Gimme 3 Podcast, and we will see you at the movies.